Hello, 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 everybody. You, and you. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Heat Press Nation Live. My name's Jared, and I'm super excited to be here today. We have a very, very fun topic here for you guys today. I'm going to talk more about that in a second, but real quick, do me a favor, let me know where you're tuning in from. You can give me a shout out. I got everybody here on the Facebook, and then also on the YouTube as well. So yeah, so glad you guys could all come with us today. Let me see here. Everything's loading. And then I know I got my pals over on the YouTube. So that's really cool. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, so really excited. Now, while you guys are commenting in, letting me know where you're tuning in from. No, YouTube, I don't want YouTube Premium. While you guys are letting me know where you're tuning in from, just really quick, if you want to sign up for text notifications, that means at any time we have a cool sale or we have a very special live event coming, you'll be notified. You could text the word HEAT, H-E-A-T, to the number 20198. You see it right there on your screen. Text to join, and then we'll send you a sweet little coupon code, $10 off your next order of $50 or more. So if you want a discount on some vinyl, maybe you're gonna buy some sublimation blanks, definitely good to use that code. Plus, you already get free shipping to the lower 48 states on like 98% of our website. So that's really cool. More and more savings to all you guys and girls out there. Now, besides that, well, today you're gonna see this puppy. You're gonna see lots of puppies. We have lots of cool sublimation blanks, products, the printers, all the equipment that we used to produce today's live episode. You're gonna have a link to that over at heat.press/live. Go to heat.press/live. It's gonna have everything that you're gonna be seeing here today and some of the stuff you won't. For example, the printer that we use to print all of these blanks, we don't really have a place to fit it here on stage, but if you wanna know what we use, you can head on over to heat.press/live. If you're watching on Facebook, do me a favor and like the Heat Press Nation page, and if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and subscribe to your pals over here at Heat Press Nation. So Uke Vibe says, awesome shirt, Jared. Thank you for your help with all these videos. Thank you. I'm glad you noticed. We did a video a few weeks back where I showed you like how big you could print. So this is actually a 13 by 19 inch print on a triple extra large t-shirt. Yeah, so this is a big shirt. It's actually kind of long. I don't think you can see, anyways, you see the bottom, but yeah, thank you. I'm already like 6 or 7 washes on this particular t-shirt. The image looks perfect. Everything looks like still brand new on this t-shirt. So I love it. Shout out to my boys over at Silky Socks, boys and girls over there. They hooked it up with this sample blank and I heat pressed it for that episode. So yeah, check that out. Watching from Yonkers, New York. Cool, cool, cool. Yvette says, hi, Jared. Also from Yonkers, New York. Well, hey, so good to see you. Terry from Bonnie Lake, Washington. And then Allery says, tuning in from England. What? International today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's see if I can get the Facebook to work here. I don't know why it's giving me some problems. If you're tuning in on Facebook, thank you guys so much. I'm trying to bring up the video. There it is. There it is. Okay, let's see. Let's give it a second to load the comments. But yeah, anyways, we have a lot of cool stuff. So if you saw by the title, you know that today we are talking about Here Comes the bride, yes, but also Here Comes the Prophet. So there's a really interesting article in the New York Times. It came out, I forget when, I want to say a few weeks ago. And basically, so before the pandemic, like in the years 2009 to 2019, we're talking about the whole decade before the pandemic, there were roughly 2 million weddings in the United States every year. That's a lot. Congrats. I was one of them, by the way. I got married back in 2017. And so it was, yeah, a lot of weddings. I remember we had to fight for our venue, for our vendors. It was crazy. You know, the wedding industry, it's popping. And then in the year 2020, after the pandemic, that number dipped by half. Because of the pandemic, that number went all the way down to like roughly around 1 million weddings. cut in half. I had a lot of friends that I know personally that had to postpone their weddings, or instead of having the big wedding they wanted, they had a really private ceremony, like, just went to the preacher's office and just right there had him marry them, or they went to the courthouse and just got married there. Because people, they want to get married. If the pandemic would have happened right before my wedding, I would have just gone to the preacher's office and be like, yo, can you just marry us like right here? And I don't know. Anyways, I totally respect everybody who wanted to postpone their weddings. What I'm getting at is that here we are in the year 2022. We are mostly clear of all the pandemic issues. Anyways, lots of things are opened up again, including wedding venues. And what this New York Times article was saying is that we're gonna look to have like basically all the postponed weddings from the pandemic, they're popping off right now. So in 2022 and 2023, we're gonna see a huge flood into the wedding industry. There's anticipated to be around or almost 3 million weddings in the year 2022, and that number is sure to be pretty high in the year 2023. So what we are saying here at Heat Press Nation is don't get caught with empty pockets. Look, all right? Speaking as someone who's been married recently, all right? People are gonna pay. People want to celebrate. They wanna go big, they wanna go small, but they want to celebrate their big day, and they deserve to. So they have to get their stuff from somewhere. It may as well be from an awesome, local, high quality, honest supplier like you, hopefully. So today, this whole episode, we're gonna be showing you guys some really great products that are super easy, top quality, and fun to make. So whether you're making them for yourself, for your friends or loved ones, or as an entire business that you offer to your clients, we hope we can offer some really great insight into the wedding industry today. So head on over to the table. And man, boy, do we have some samples. I want to give a huge shout out to my pal Ronnie. She's in the comments helping us out today, per usual, but she also hooked it up with a lot of really great samples. I love her eye and her creativity. Mine is shot. Okay, so anyways, so check it out. First, you see right here front and center, and I'm kind of going out of order, but don't worry, I'll show you what we're doing. We have the Buy the Bride a drink for the Bachelorette party tea. This is something I saw like a year or two ago in Vegas. In their windows, people were posting their Venmo information so you could buy the bride a drink. But you know what I was doing? I was actually requesting money from them. No one was drunk enough to actually send me any money, but it was fun. Anyways, yeah, you could drop your Venmo QR code. We have a drink cooler right here. Honeymoon tea, we got socks, we got tote bags, we have mugs, we have bag tags. But before I get ahead of myself, really quick here, I want to say hi. Hi to everybody. Oh, I messed it up. Let's see. I wanted to give a shout out to all my Facebook homies because I'm having a little trouble here finding the comments. But anyways, I'm going to set this down really quick. So we're going to kind of go in chronological order for the bride and groom, for the couple. So the first thing we're going to show you here is this really cool, and this is for the bridesmaids, right? This really cool See, I'm going out of order. It's the Bride Tribe tee with the Venmo QR code. So this is this is a Sublimation t-shirt. Of course, this is actually something that you could do with heat transfer vinyl, but because we only have the one heat press right now and it's set to the sublimation temperature, we're gonna be doing everything with sublimation today. But like this QR code, you could actually do that in heat transfer vinyl. Make sure you weed it properly, otherwise it's not gonna scan right. But yeah, you could actually do this with HTV and it'll look pretty darn cool. But yeah, so for the couple, first thing out the gate, you're gonna have the bachelorette parties and the bachelor parties. Okay, so we have this really cool t-shirt. And the thing I love about t-shirts, and I think we talked about this last week, the shirt that I'm wearing, this shirt right here, the thing I love about Sublimation t-shirts is just how doggone easy they are to make. And to prove it, we're gonna make one right now. So we're gonna actually head on over to our table. Now, thanks to my awesome pal Ronnie, I have a few options today. I'm actually gonna go with the honeymoon t-shirts. I know we're going a little bit out of order, but it's the same process for the Bride Tribe t-shirt. But you already see that one made, so I'm just gonna make a different one. So here we are. This is Signature Pro 12-in-1 actually. It comes with a lot of cool stuff. Now, really quick, because I'm using sublimation, I do have my pressing pillow. Now this pillow, so when you're working with synthetic materials like polyester, one thing you'll notice is that sometimes the material, it is possible that it'll scorch at lower temperatures or even at the temperatures required for sublimation. So I'm just centering this t-shirt onto the plate. And I want my collar to hang right off the edge of the pillow. So now what the pillow does, because this pillow has like a soft rounded edge, when I heat press it, that soft rounded edge is gonna make sure I don't have like an imprint from the edges of the heating element. So if you've pressed a polyester shirt before, you know that sometimes the heat press can actually leave a little square, a little imprint on the garment. So by inserting this pressing pillow, we eliminate that. It's gonna soften up the edges, and I'm just gonna have a nice pressing area. So here we go. Well, it's backwards, of course. You know, sublimation prints, you print backwards. Now, this looks pretty solid. This actually looks really nice on the paper. But one thing I know about sublimation is that after you heat press it, that's when you really get the vibrance in your color. So take note of how this looks right now. This is gonna be popping once we press. So now we're really pushing the limits of this pressing pillow. Now, one thing you always want to remember with the pillow has to be bigger than your transfer, but smaller than the heating element. So this is a 15 by 15 inch heating element. I think this is like an 8 by 10 pillow. And the graphic here, I'm not sure what the dimensions are on the graphic, but we're pushing that 10 inch size. So really quick, I'm just gonna make sure this is centered. All right, now one thing I always do is I always cover my transfer with a piece of parchment paper. Now, we did get a question last week. Last week, I didn't put a piece of parchment paper inside, and it was fine. We got a question, why? Why don't you put the parchment paper inside the shirt? Or why don't you? Anyways, ideally, for a thinner t-shirt like this is like an economy sublimation shirt. For a thinner t-shirt, I don't know if you can see my hand through it. But anyways, for thinner shirts, sometimes the sublimation dye, it seeps through the front and it'll actually show up on the back of the shirt. So I'm purposefully not inserting a piece of parchment paper inside because I want to show you what that looks like. And then of course you'll know. So ideally you'd put this sheet of parchment paper inside the shirt to protect between the two layers. I'm not gonna do that so you could see what happens. And then we'll have a good example of, sometimes I like to mess things up on purpose to show why we do or don't do certain things. All right, so I've covered my transfer. Now the reason why I put a parchment on top is I don't want any of this sublimation dye to get on my heating element. That would be bad. So I've already set my pressure in advance. The temperature is at 385 degrees. The time is set for 55 seconds. Now when you're sublimating onto a t-shirt, you can go anywhere from 385 to 400 degrees. Your time is gonna be anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. For thicker materials, you may even need to go a little bit higher. Now I chose 55 seconds because the artwork, it's pretty dark. There's a lot of ink coverage on there and I just wanna make sure it's able to fully heat up and sublimate into my garment. So we're gonna do that. You notice I don't have a ton of pressure on this heat press. We just have a nice medium pressure. When you're working with the pillows, the pillow should squish about 50%. I'm obviously exaggerating here. The pillow, let's say it was this thick, it should squish to about 50% thickness. You don't want to smash it all the way or apply heavy pressure. You could ruin your pillow. That timer lets me know that we're done. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Swing it away right here. As the name implies, it's a swing away heat press. I'm gonna carefully remove this. Now, I saw this in the Facebook group the other day. Someone was asking about ghosting on t-shirts and flat products. Okay, ghosting occurs when your transfer shifts on the surface of your blank item. Now that's why I carefully, slowly lifted the heat press and swung it away, slowly lifted the parchment paper off. I'm gonna let this cool for a few more seconds, and then just like a Band-Aid, I'm just gonna rip that off. And that looks pretty darn good. I like this. I like this a lot. Let me show this to the camera here, get it a little bit. Now, I always have a hard time centering. Oh, here we go, that's not bad. Look at the colors on that. Look how bold and vibrant that is. Now, yes, this is a honeymoon t-shirt. Of course, the same process, we use the same process for that bachelorette party t-shirt. Look how easy this is. Now, one thing I love about Sublimation is it's so darn soft. You literally cannot feel that. And the reason why is because you're literally dyeing the garment. You're dyeing the material. Now, here's why, if anyone's curious, this is why I hope you can see this. You see how this is the back of the garment. The ink bled through. This is why we put parchment paper inside of a t-shirt made of thinner materials. Now, I will say this shirt that I'm wearing right here, this I got from Silky Socks. Their shirts are a little bit thicker. In my testing, I haven't had to put a piece of parchment paper inside. I'm actually gonna show this over here on the table. So if you're working with a thicker t-shirt, like these really cool Silky Socks tees that I'm wearing, you don't really need to put the parchment inside. But right now we're using not so thin. We're using these Sublimation ones. Again, we don't waste anything here. We have an old stock of these. Nothing bad. They're definitely thinner, but because they're thinner, you want to take proper precautions. So this is the honeymoon tee we just did. But of course, check this out. So even before the wedding, check it out. This is our Bride Tribe tee. Now, another really cool project, I'm not gonna demo this right now, but another really cool project is if you get a white polyester sash, check out this Maid of Honor sash. You could outfit your whole bride crew with these really cool, I would put it on, but I'm too big. It doesn't, well, it looks ugly on me, I'll just say that. But yeah, this sash, you just wear it when the girls are having their night out, their bachelorette party. Check it out. This one says Maid of Honor. You could literally put whatever you want. Now, what's really cool about these sashes is, yes, this one's white, so I was able to sublimate it, but you could really get any color material and put a heat transfer vinyl. So this is another product that if you don't have a sublimation printer, you are working with heat transfer vinyl. This is great. This is really cool. I'm gonna let you guys contemplate this really quick. I got my iPad right here with the comments. Let's see. Oh, Ash Allen, I think I answered this. She's asking, what kind of t-shirt am I wearing? This is a 100% polyester sublimation tee from a company called Silky Socks. And I'm just gonna type that right here. Oh no, I'm not logged in. Never mind. Anyways, yeah, this is from Silky Socks, our friends. We actually did a video with them a few weeks ago. You could scroll back and find that, where we demoed this and a bunch of other cool products. Let's see, what other questions do we got here? Lucia says, are the fumes or smell toxic? And Ronnie answered this in the chat, but I do want to say this like out loud. We're using a Sawgrass printer with Sawgrass inks. Now, what's really cool about Sawgrass is their inks are tested to be non-toxic. So if you happen to accidentally breathe a little bit of it in, it doesn't smell great. You obviously don't want to be sniffing a bunch of this stuff, but you're not going to die. You're not going to get sick. It's non-toxic. So we always recommend heat pressing and sublimating in a well-ventilated area. Of course, but if you were to accidentally, sniff a little bit of it, you are okay. You're A-okay. So the shirt that we use for these samples are from a brand called Sublimation. I don't know if they still have them because our supplier got bought out and moved. Sad day for us here. So these are Sublimation. Personally, I do like the Silky Socks t-shirts a little bit better. It's the one that I'm actually wearing. But again, at Heat Press Nation, we don't waste anything. So we have a bunch of these t-shirts in our supply that we use for testing. So we're gonna use them until they run out, and then we're gonna place a big fat order with our pals over at Silky Socks. Okay, any other questions here? Tiffany says, do they ever go on sale? I'm not sure if you're talking about the heat press or the t-shirts. I know Silky Socks, every now and then they'll have a sale. As far as the heat presses, so actually we're gonna move back over here really quick. This is the 15 by 15 inch, 12-in-1. Now this one is out of stock at the moment. This exact model is out of stock for about another month or so. But the 12-inch by 15-inch version, so it's the same thing, except this top part is a little bit shorter. So it's still 15 inches wide, but it's a little bit shorter. The 12 by 15-inch version with the 8-in-1 is on sale right now, and it's $854.95. You see it right there. You can check it out at heat.press/live, or you guys know how to read. There you go. You see it all there. And that heat press is on sale, so that's really cool. Carol is asking, can you change inks from Caesar Easy Subli to the Sublimation? I'm sorry, but you cannot. We do not recommend switching ink systems at all. There's a lot of reasons. The big one is that it'll void your warranty. But the other reason is you don't really need to be totally honest. They're both sublimation inks, and they both work great with the printable vinyl, the Easy Subli vinyl, and the demo, and the other products. So really quick, okay, sorry, I had to check something. Yeah, so they're both gonna work great. They're just a little bit different. Easy Subli is gonna look better on the printable vinyl. Sublimation is gonna look better on everything else that we're showing you here today. Speaking of everything else, I'm gonna show you guys our tote bag. So this is the finished product right here. Of course, gotta show that off. This is super cool. Actually, this tote bag is pretty neat because it has a zipper on top, which I'm gonna show you. So it has a zipper on top. Now this is a plastic zipper. You do not wanna ever heat press a plastic zipper. One time I was heat pressing a onesie, a baby onesie, and it had plastic tabs on the bottom part, and those melted. So if you're using anything with a little bit of plastic in it, let that part hang off of the heat press. So so we've moved on from the pre-event to the day of. Now, my wife did this on her wedding day. I know it's really popular for lots of different people, but there's day of gifts and swag. So on the day of, the bride, she might give out I know the bridesmaids' robes are pretty popular. I don't know, there's lots of different stuff that you could do. Now this tote bag has a little wrinkle in it. Now, if you guys were watching last week, you saw how a wrinkle got the best of me. And I heat pressed the wrinkle. I'm not gonna make that mistake today. So what I am gonna do though is, and actually I'll do it sideways so you can see. Now this part with the zipper, you want that completely hanging off the edge of the heat press. You don't even wanna see it, you don't wanna sniff it. You don't wanna be anywhere near. Now in this case, I don't think I really need the pillow, but I'm gonna use it anyways, just because it's already here. Ow, I burnt my arm. Just because it's already here, and I think it'll fit. So now, really quick, I am gonna do a pre-press to get rid of this wrinkle. I know you can't see it, but trust me, that puppy is there. Now, when you're pre-pressing something, you don't have to press it all the way. You just wanna lower it enough to where it gets in there, and there we go. The lights are so bright, you can't really see this wrinkle, but again, trust me, it's there. So with my zipper hanging off the edge, and this is a thicker material, so again, I don't really need to worry about putting any parchment paper inside. What I am gonna do is just make sure this is gonna fit. Yeah, that'll fit just barely. So I'm gonna position this, I'm gonna make sure that it is centered. Seems to be good. Now this parchment paper came out clean. There's nothing transferred onto it, but just so I could reuse it, just in case, I'm gonna put it on there. And now for this one, this is a thicker material, and you might think, what is 5 seconds gonna do? But in my heart, it feels good. 385 degrees, I actually bumped it up to 60 seconds. Let's take a look, see how this goes. There we go, I got my iPad here, gonna answer some questions. You know what, Cynthia Navarrete Maldonado, thank you so much. So Cynthia says, I can say as a starter business on all sublimation drinkware, I 100% stand by Heat Press Nation sublimation mugs. Yes, thank you. If you're on Facebook, you know that's a real comment. We didn't pay her to say that. That's really cool. Rebecca is saying, is sublimation best on polyester versus cotton? So The way sublimation works is that these inks that get printed out onto the sheet, when you heat them up, they turn into a gas dye. So the heat from the press turns those inks into a gas dye. The pressure from the press forces those dyes into the blank item. Now, for whatever reason, I'm not too keen on the science behind it, but the dye ink only transfers onto polyester materials. For whatever reason, it just doesn't bond with cotton, which kind of sucks, but that's science for you, right? That's why I don't like science. No, I'm just kidding. I love science. So anyways, so it doesn't bond with cotton. So if you are, that's why we say use polyester or polyrich. If you're gonna use a polycotton blend, you wanna have as much polyester in that blend as possible. Ideally 65% polyester and up. A 50-50 will work. It's just gonna give you kind of a faded vintage vibe. So I'm gonna carefully lift that off. I don't wanna shift, because I didn't heat tape anything in place. I'll do that later. I don't want anything to shift. I'm just gonna, like a Band-Aid, just pick that up. Bada bing, bada boom. So check that out. This looks great. This is for Courtney. And what's cool about these tote bags is they're totally customizable. It's not like heat transfer. All you do is you just change the name right here and the initial inside. And now each bridesmaid has her own custom tote bag. This is a zip tote. It's very cool. So all your day of gifts, whether it's going to be like the makeup kit or it's going to be the customized robe, which are very cool, and you can heat press those. Whatever it is, you could drop it in here. Maybe it's like a wedding day emergency kit. Have a lot of fun with this. It's a really cool product. I'm going to bring it back over to the table so you could have a look at it. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, in addition to this, there are some other fun items that we have here. This is a sock. This is a father of the bride sock, which is, it's really nice. Now, this is placed like on the heel, on the underfoot. So it's very subtle. It's kind of more commemorative. And you know, maybe if it's a white sock, he might not be wearing it on the day of. I do know that Silky Socks, they do sell dress socks. So if you want to get creative and check that out, they have dressy socks that if, you know, for a more formal occasion, but if not, this is really cool. Something that you could sublimate. Another thing that's very popular on the day of the wedding is to present your groomsmen with gifts. So check this out. I'm gonna hold that there. Look at this best man sublimation flask. Now, if I have enough time at the end of the broadcast, I'm gonna show you how to switch out the multifunction attachments so you can sublimate onto flasks. But yes, you could sublimate onto this flask, full color graphics. This looks absolutely amazing. Now, I don't drink, so I don't really have a use for flasks. But I know my friends who do, they would totally love this. So yeah, super duper cool. And this is just one of a ton of things that you could use on the day of. So we have the Bride Tribe t-shirt and the sash for like when you're pre-gaming, you know, when you're before the wedding, for the bachelorette parties or bachelor parties or whatever. We have the tote bag and the socks and the flask for like day of goodies, gifts, personalized items from the bride and groom to their closest loved ones, to the wedding party, which is really cool. And now that brings us to another point. We're talking about the day of, right? Who doesn't love a cool and unique wedding favor? Now, there's lots of options on there. I'm not gonna dog any specific option. At my wedding, now I'll say this, at my wedding, our wedding favors were pie pops. Absolutely incredible. My sister-in-law made them. Well, I hear they were incredible. Somebody actually stole mine and ate it on my own wedding day. But this is something that you can take home and enjoy for a very, very long time. It's gonna keep your drinks cool for years to come. And I'm actually gonna demo this right now. So let's head back on over to the table. And for this, I don't need the pillow. So what I do need is some parchment paper. So I'm just gonna put some down here on the bottom, and you'll see why. For items like this, you definitely need parchment paper. I'm just gonna cut a sheet right here. Don't want that going anywhere. So here we have our blank. Now this is a skinny can cooler, and you can see it's totally blank, right? It's blank on both sides. And here is my transfer. So there's two ways that you can do this. Now, if you don't have any heat tape, you're just gonna wanna be very careful. You're gonna wanna align the cooler with the, transfer, making sure it's completely inside. There should be a little bit of extra bleed area, you see, so it's, you know. Now, if you don't have any heat tape, it's gonna get a little sketchy because you're going to have to somehow perfectly flip it without moving it and just trust that it's positioned properly. Now, that's not very smart. I'm gonna be completely honest. Ideally, now this one's already been pre-taped. You wanna have a little heat tape to tape the transfer in place so that way when you flip it, it's not gonna move anywhere. And it's gonna be positioned properly. So I'm actually gonna press these two at the exact same time. I think I aligned this one properly, but I know because I heat taped it in place that this one is heat pressed properly. Really quick before I close it, I know that I'm gonna stay at 385 degrees, but my temperature, I'm gonna bring this down to 50 seconds. I'm also gonna cover this with another sheet of parchment paper. Now again, here's why the heat tape, here's why, you guys saw my big old head. This is why the heat tape is important, because when I put the paper on, I have to trust that this is not gonna shift or move. So it's really helpful. Usually heat tape is only used for hard surface items, but sometimes it does help to have a little heat tape, even when you're pressing not hard surface items, like these koozies. So really quick, I'm just gonna boost my pressure a little bit. There we go. And I'm gonna heat press these. Actually, I think the pressure should be right there, okay. 385 degrees. Actually, that's a little too much. I'm gonna back down really quick. There we go. Usually for sublimation, you only need to have a very medium pressure. You don't need to be heavy at all. I got 50 seconds on the clock. Let's see if we have any questions here. Gazworks says, great vids every time. Gaz from Wales, UK. Oh, so cool. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure it's like late night for you, probably. I don't know what the time difference is. Yugo Vibe says, can you heat press PVC photo booth wedding props? You know, I don't know. That's a great question though. I'm sure we'll have to check that out and try for part 2 of this video. Sissy Sue, thank you so much. You are too kind. Too kind, I appreciate you. All right, so here we go. Timer is up. I'm gonna, again, carefully open this. Because remember, this koozie, I didn't tape it. This one I did. And I'm gonna carefully lift this off because I don't want it to shift. Oh, you know what? It shifted, so let's, oh, not bad. Not bad except for one detail that I'm sure you guys are gonna roast me on. But in my haste, I did this one upside down. But you know what? There's no white. Oh, there's a little white right here on the edge. I don't know if you could see it, but I did this one upside down. So besides being upside down, like a dummy. Now this one's heat taped in place, so I'm just gonna like pull that off. There we go. There we go, and this one looks great. There's no white edges. Oh, my producer Alex says, it's a bottoms up can cooler, so it only reads correctly when you're taking a big drink. That's hilarious. I'm gonna bring these back over to the table so you guys can get a better look at them. There we go. Color's looking great. That's a lot of dark color, which is also why we added extra time. Typically with darker colors, you want to just give it a few extra seconds to make sure that it sublimates properly. Oh, okay, sorry, Alex, really quick. Can we go back to the press? So really quick, if you want to see why we put parchment paper on the bottom plate, you see this ink right here? from the transfers, that would have stained my bottom platen. But of course, because I got my trusty parchment paper, we're good. I can just throw it away and I still have a clean bottom plate. Okay, before I forgot. Okay, back to the table. Okay, Yvette says, I use glitter HTV on sashes, comes out nice. Heck yeah, that's a really cool idea. And then for these koozies, if you're buying colored koozies, you can also put heat transfer vinyl on them. Because these are, I didn't do the other side, but because these are white, you can sublimate onto them. You can fully customize the entire surface. But if you're buying like colored koozies, you can definitely put some heat transfer vinyl on them. That's a really cool way to customize the koozies. Honestly, a lot of these, you could put heat transfer vinyl. A lot of like the soft cotton garments and things like that, you could use the heat transfer vinyl. So it's a very great tip. Thank you, thank you. All in Tech says, can I reuse the old parchment paper another day if it has ink on it and it's completely dry? No, you can't. The reason why is because once that ink heats up, there's a possibility that it could reactivate and re-imprint on your other item. Parchment paper is cheap, we just throw it away. That's typically what we recommend. We don't recommend really reusing your parchment paper, especially if it has ink on it. That's a good question though. Okay, let's see. We Hot Sound says, coming in from Orlando, Florida. Very cool. So glad to have everybody tuning in. By the way, once again, you can check out heat.press/live. We have these can coolers, by the way. So these blanks, we have the blank flasks. The clothing items, not so much, but these can coolers that you see here, these, we have them, have the koozies and the flask. And we have, so by the way, so all this was printed on a Sawgrass SG 800, 800, what am I saying? 1000, Sawgrass SG 1000. You could print this because all of our transfers, you see, is 8.5 by 14 inch paper. So you could actually print this on your SG 500. So 8.5 by 14 inch, it's a great size for transferring. If you have it, it's gonna work great. Okay, let's see, we got any other questions here? Chris says, how do you know what pressure to use on items? And how do you know the difference between them? That's a great question, Chris. Let's actually head back over to the table here. So we have what we call the paper pressure test. I don't have any blank paper, but what I do have, or what I hope I have, is a dollar bill. Let's see, do I have a dollar bill? Yes, I do. So really quick, this is how we check. I have $1. I have exactly $1. This is how we check for pressure. Now, ideally, you're gonna do this when the heat presses off. So this is how we know pressure really quick here. Paper pressure test, I'm gonna loosen my heat press all the way. This is super loose. It's not even really making contact with the heat, with the heating element, with the bottom plate. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna lower it. You put the dollar bill in about halfway, close your press. If the bill slides out even a little bit, you see how I'm able to kind of wriggle it out a little bit? If the bill slides out, it's too loose. So you want to keep going up in small increments until that bill gets stuck. Again, bill's about halfway, don't tear it. I'm able to pull it out a little bit, all right? So we know that it's still too much pressure. Now this is pressure for vinyl. Vinyl requires a medium oh, here we go. Feeling a little resistance on there. That's another good indicator too. If you feel resistance on the handle, you're probably out of medium pressure. This dollar bill is stuck. Once it's stuck, you're at a solid medium to medium firm pressure, and you also have a nice crispy dollar bill. You know what? I want this dollar bill crispy. All right. You also have a nice crispy dollar bill. This is medium pressure, perfect for pressing heat transfer vinyl, some heat transfer paper, other items. Okay, that's enough. Nice crispy dollar. All right, that was just for fun. But one thing that's important is after you do the dollar bill or the paper test, get a feel for it. So you're gonna wanna press a few things. You're gonna wanna get a feel for this pressure, all right? Now, once you have the feel for this pressure, let's just say, and I'm just gonna bring these back here. This is not gonna make any sense, but let's just say, because I have to do these, right? Let's say I'm pressing these and I folded it, so I want to protect this, right? Right here. There we go. Let's say I have some koozies, right? I have some canned koozies in here. Now the feel is going to be different because they're thicker. They've added some thickness. Now when I close it, now it feels too heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the pressure until it gets back to the same feel that I had when I did the dollar bill test. So that's really how it goes. And yeah, of course, we're not going to press these. So what you're looking for is going to be the feel of it. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, when you have the pillow, pillows are going to be a little bit different. You want this pillow to compress to about 50% thickness. And that's just going to be like, you can kind of feel it if you're going to squish it too hard. Loosening it a little bit. Now it's too loose. Oh, where'd it go? There we go, got stuck. Ow, that's hot. Anyways, yeah, so you can pull it, you can kind of see, you want to squish this to about 50% thickness. Okay, let me get back to the table. We have, oh, that was it. Okay, so really quick, before we go, I have time for one more demonstration now. So we talked about the day of, we talked about the reception favors, which I think I just ruined. Nope, they're still good. We talked about reception. Yeah, I did ruin them. I did, my bad. We talked about reception favors. And now in addition to the reception favors, this is something that's really cool. We have these cool silver plated handle mugs. And you could just customize the mug. Serves two purposes. When everybody hits up the coffee table or the drink table, they could take their own custom mug. This is very, very cool. I love that silver plated handle. And we have lots of other color combinations as well. You can check that out at heatpressnation.com. Again, just another item for you to consider to add to your arsenal. Now, one thing I do suggest you do, head on over to heatpressnation.com or heat.press/live. Check out the different sublimation blanks we have, because I guarantee you're gonna get a good idea for something that you can offer to your customers, especially your customers. Now, here's what's cool. I recommend start off, you wanna hook them early in the process. Start off with these sashes or like the bachelorette party t-shirts, because if they're getting you for the bachelorette party, then they know, then you could show them like, hey, your bachelorette party, you know, you can tell them like, hey, I also do wedding favors. I also do groomsmen gifts. So, you know, you could book them for the whole thing. If you can find, now what we didn't cover was things you could do for wedding showers. Bro, dude, sis, whoever, hook them at the wedding shower. And now you have a customer that you can walk them through you could walk with them through the entire wedding process and get them hooked on all your really great merch. Another thing that we have here, really quick, I'm just gonna kind of browse through these. You have keepsakes and mementos. This picture frame, this is gonna be great for photographers. If you have photographer friends, tell them like, hey, I can get you a custom frame for X amount of dollars. That way they can upsell to their clients. If you have any photographer friends or know any photographers who are pretty consistent with their wedding, wedding clients, you know, work out a deal. Hey, if you send me this many clients a month, I'll kick back whatever many dollars. And of course, this blank area is where you put the picture. Really cool custom frame. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna show you, that's the keepsakes. We showed you the honeymoon t-shirt, so I kind of got ahead of myself with the honeymoon t-shirt, but really quick, the last thing I'm gonna show you, we're gonna walk back to the heat press, because we get this question a lot. So we're back at the heat press. I have my dollar there. Hope I don't steal it. No, so we're back at the heat press, and I'm gonna show you, so this is the flask attachment. It comes with the 12-in-1 multifunction heat press. If you already have the 8-in-1 multifunction, you are able to purchase this separately, this flask attachment. But really quick, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to change attachments on the multifunction heat press. This is gonna apply for whether you're putting on the hat attachment or the flask attachment, or even the shoe attachment, which I think we showed you in another video, or the, hats, and plate attachment. We didn't show you the plates today, but the plates are really awesome as well. So really quick, there's 2 screws underneath, and I always get them mixed up. Right, there we go. There's 2 screws that you can loosen by hand underneath the heating element. And now what you can do is, now you can't see it if they're too hard to loosen from the top. There's these Allen screws on top as well, and you can just hold that in place while you loosen it on bottom. Oh, wrong way. Pop that out. I like to screw them back in so I don't lose any pieces. There's 1, and there we go. I always spin them backwards, and there's 2. So we're gonna remove the bottom plate first. And it's a little warm, but that's okay, I'm strong. I'm pretty tough. And that's the bottom base. So now, I have my bottom base right here. Gonna put it back in. Oh, and you know what? Sorry, not for this one. Because this one has the screws built in, I'm just gonna tighten this right here. There we go. Doesn't have to be super duper tight. There we go, but definitely tight enough to where it stays in place. Okay, gonna tighten that one. And real quick, this is for everybody curious, because we do get this question a lot. And I guarantee you, even if you guys aren't curious, I'm gonna send this particular portion of the video to like 100 customers in the next 2 weeks, guaranteed. Actually, I'm sorry, I did my steps backwards. Now, I have some heat gloves, all right? I'm gonna tell you guys right now that I have some heat gloves. Usually this step is saved for after the press has cooled down. But because I'm a little bit crazy like that, now the part you're not seeing, there's a little attachment over here, and I'll show you, I'll bring it to the other side. This unplugs from the brain. No, wrong one. Sorry, give me a second. There's a part in the back that unplugs. Where is it? There we go. This one. Yes. So anyways, so you loosen it up right here. Pull that out. You just put that there. Now this is the part where it gets really hot, okay? So you're gonna lower this. You can lower it onto the flask, doesn't really matter. You just don't want it to fall off. And I think I went out of order. Either way, you can get it done, it's no big deal. Now, these thumb screws, they're pretty hot. There we go. These are pretty hot, so if you need to wear gloves, go ahead. These gloves are a little clumsy, but I'm gonna do it because it's hot. So basically what you're gonna do is there's 4 thumb screws at the top of this right here. Oh, and they are hot. There we go. For this, we're gonna have to abbreviate this video. There we go. Can remove the thumb screws. See if I can do this one really fast. That's hot as heck. And now that it's removed, lift this up, swing it out of the way. Even these handles are gonna be very hot, ladies and gentlemen. These are there to make it easier when it's cooled down. But they don't protect you from the heat. But now that I've got that all taken care of, I could take my heat gloves off. I'm gonna position my flask attachment right here on the base. I'm gonna center it on the base. I'm gonna lower it here. There we go. Now these are still hot. Doggone. These little screws are still pretty hot, so I'm not gonna tighten it super tight. I don't feel like burning my fingers like I do in all of our doggone lives. So, oh, that's the hot one right there. This is like hot ones, but with machine parts. The last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get this end of the cable and you're gonna reconnect it right here. You're gonna tighten that up. And now we are good to go. There we go. So now my flask, which is over here, you would just position it right there, and then that would, boom, just like that. Of course, you're gonna readjust your pressure to we have a nice even pressure on there, and that's how you heat press the flask. That's how you switch the elements. It's that easy. You would do the exact same thing for the hat attachment. That goes down here as well. Same process. Plate attachment, you're just gonna remove the top, but that's how you switch the attachments on the HPN Signature Series multi-function heat press. I'm gonna move over here really quick. I'm gonna take a few questions while we reset. Oh, one thing I did wanna show you that I didn't get to show you. For the honeymoon, these bag tags, you could have custom made bag tags. These are really legit. Because they're fully customized. You can do both sides if you want to. And these luggage tags are just a great way to keep track of your stuff. You think you have a unique piece of luggage until you go to the airport and you're at the carousel, and then you see like 400 other bags that look just like yours. You want a cool way to identify it? Get a custom bag tag. These bag tags are pretty darn affordable. So this is also just a cool gift. Let's say you have a bride and you do her sashes and you do her wedding favors and you do her tote bag. So she's spending a lot of money with you. Throw in something cute like a bag tag. Don't even put your brand on it. You don't need to do that. That's old school. Don't even put your brand name on there. Put her and her husband. Trust me, they'll remember you. They will remember you if you give them a cool free gift like that. You don't need to put your branding on all of your freebies. Honestly, it's not worth it. If they love you, they'll remember your Instagram. They'll know how to find you. If you're mean and if they're not happy with the product, yeah, they're probably gonna lose your number anyways, or just not use your free gift. So there's a free tip for you guys. So for the honeymoon, we got those bag tags, of course. We got this super dope honeymooner t-shirt that we made today, which is really cool. Honestly, there's so many cool things that you could do for weddings, for the wedding industry. There's so many, like I said, the wedding industry is super booming this year. Oops. Yeah, the wedding industry, what is that? There we go. The wedding industry is super booming this year. There are so many weddings happening, so you may as well get in on it. This is a hot industry that it was already doing really good before the pandemic, but right now, post-pandemic, there is just a huge influx, a huge surge in weddings. Honestly, most of the regular businesses, they can't handle the workload anyways. So it's a really good time to get in on it. Head on over to heatpressnation.com. We have tons of blanks that are ready to go that you can order for your clients, your customers, and make their day really extra special. I got a few moments here for a couple more questions. I see Ronnie has been kicking absolute booty in the comments, so she probably answered all the good questions. Let me see though. Let me see what I can ask for our friends here. Corey is saying, is there a way to press a flask without the flask attachments? Any workarounds you have found? If it's 100% metal, including the cap and any inside or anything like that, you could probably use some heat shrink. I haven't tested it just yet with the heat shrink that we carry. I'll probably try to do that this week, but you could probably use some heat shrink to customize the flask if you don't have a press with a flask attachment. So that's something you could probably do. I haven't tested that yet, but it makes sense that it would work. Let's see, we got any other questions here? Lola says, hey, I missed this live. Will there be a replay? And if so, where do I find it? We have all of our lives available on youtube.com, like you need to know, on YouTube and on Facebook. So you can head on over to our channel on YouTube. It's just youtube.com/heatpressnation, facebook.com/heatpressnation, or you could just search Heat Press Nation. Trust me, you'll find us. Google loves us. So that's a great question. Let's see, we have any other questions here? Let's see. Colette says, where can I get the sashes? So here at Heat Press Nation, we don't really carry clothing items. So like the t-shirts and the sashes, I know the sashes we got from like Amazon. The t-shirts we bought from an old t-shirt supplier. We have a ton laying around, so we're just trying to work through our supply there, trying to not be wasteful. But this t-shirt, I backed this one. This is a Silky Socks t-shirt, and I love it. This is a, let's see. Cynthia says, pressing the flask or a shot glass would be cool too. Yes, see, I love the creativity there. There's so many items that you can customize for the wedding industry, like so many options. We just covered a few of them, to be completely honest. Like, this is just a really small representation of the tons and tons of stuff that you can offer to your customers. And of course, that's gonna rely on your creativity. That's why we love you guys. And right now is a really great time to plug our group, which is the Heat Press Nation Creators Facebook group. So the Heat Press Nation Creators Facebook group, I think we're at like 35,000 members. I love that group. I love everybody in there. Almost everybody in there. I love everybody in there. Lots of cool people. What I love is that there's a lot of people all the way from like super experienced, like 30-year industry vets, to people who have, maybe they spent like an hour on YouTube and they're trying to figure things out. And there's lots of great info in the Facebook group. Not only is there great info, if you like search your question or search what you're looking up, over the past like 3 or 4 years or however long the group's been around, there's so many good suggestions. Like, it's mind-boggling how much good info is already in there. So very likely your question has already been asked in the group. But if not, ask a new question. Like, it's cool. Like, we're cool. We're chill. So yeah, check out the Facebook group. Lots of great info there. Nadine is asking, is the Sawgrass SG-1000 back in stock? Last I checked, it was. I didn't check today, but on Friday, when I was here on Friday, I believe it still was. I'm like 90% sure it is. So you can head on over to heatpressnation.com. It'll tell you if it's in stock right now. Yvette says, how are you sublimating plates? That's a great question. We weren't able to get our blanks here in time, so they didn't make it to this live episode. Unfortunately, we had to get them from our other warehouse. But anyways, there's a plate attachment for the that's hot. Why did I touch it? There's a plate attachment for the multifunction heat presses, and it attaches just like how I showed you to do this one. And yeah, it's a little circle and it presses the middle of the sublimation plate. It's super cool. We gotta get it on a video for you guys soon. I think there's an old video. I don't know how old though. Okay, any other questions? I think that's gonna be it for the questions. Yeah. Well, thank you guys honestly so much for joining me for another episode of Heat Press Nation Live. I want to give my best wishes to everybody out there who's getting married. If you're making this stuff for your own wedding or for your friends and family, mazel tov, felicidades. Honestly, guys, so happy for everybody out there. I hope you have a blast making these projects. If you do happen to make some wedding themed stuff, show us, again, our Facebook group, or if you're on Instagram or Twitter. Not a lot of our people are on Twitter for some reason. But if you're on Instagram or Twitter, you could use the hashtag HPN Creators. That's also like TikTok and like whatever else you're using. But yeah, HPN Creators, we'd love to see what you guys are working on. Before I let you go, I gotta remind you, text the word HEAT to 20198. That's gonna get you text updates for all of our latest super special live episodes. Like a couple of weeks ago, we had RJ from Creo. Before that, we had my buddy Danish from Silky Socks. Like, lots of really cool special events you guys don't want to miss out on. Sign up for text updates. Again, text the word HEAT to 20198. If you want to see this bad boy and some of those sublimation blanks and the printers that we used, pretty much everything we used to create these awesome products, you can catch that at heat.press/live. Once again, that's heat.press/live. All right, I've done enough jibber jabbering for one day, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much once again for tuning in, and I hope you have a great week. See ya.